can run. He has ball skills. As Jonathan Gannon said, those guys are hard to find. He was around 3 pick a year ago for a reason. And what's intriguing, because he missed the majority of his rookie year, 0 game action, he actually had his best week of practice, said the head coach. This past week, he is a center's 9 out of 10. Sponsored by Desert Financial Credit Union. Xavier Thomas, he has a sack, he has a fumble recovery. He's checking the boxes that Jonathan Gannon and Nick Ross wanted to see tonight. Play with more consistency, play with more violence, especially against the run.
Correct, but there's one more box that needs to be checked, and that's the box of special teams. Xavier Thomas is competing against guys like Josh Sweat, Zayvon Collins for an outside linebacker spot. He's not going to win that competition. He can win on 4th down.
Raheem Mostert hit and dropped just past the line of scrimmage. Keon Carr's in there making the initial contact. Some help from Anthony Goodlow. Xavier Thomas was one of the most heralded recruits out of high school. As a true freshman, he played on a national championship Clemson team. And then COVID hit. He ended up doing 6 years at Clemson, and he said he lost his love for the game for a while, but then came back with a Porsche at the very end of his college career and made it as a day 3 draft pick a year ago as the Raiders stoke it north. And look, he has things you just can't teach in Xavier Thomas, right? I mean, the athleticism and nothing else.
Yeah, he's an athlete, but I just want to go back to your point about losing that love for the game. Football can be draining, especially talking about that COVID year. And then you're going to the NFL, you're trying to make the roster, and it's not all that it seems. So rekindling that love for the game sometimes just happens by having a new coaching staff or getting a new environment or just playing again in the pre or regular season.
Cam Miller, 3rd down and 6 from his own 11. Flags fly, whistles blow.
False start. Offense number 76. That's a 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's Caleb Rogers, the backup left guard. But again, the Cardinals, and we know how the Cardinals want to play defense. And in some ways, they're searching for what is the identity of this year's defense. In the past, they've had to manufacture a pass rush. And they rush for, I mean, the D&D line this year stands for day and night. When you look at the starters, what they've added, and now, okay, what are they capable of? And that's all part of the process in August as you build towards week 1 at New Orleans. 2 in the morning.
It is part of the international series. See the Jags as well. Let's get back to the game in Arizona. We'll see what happens.
Coming out of the 2-minute warning for Keaton Mostert. A short game. Celebrating as the Cardinals exercise the timeout.
The reason like that, staying in phase as if you were in phase that can make you stand out to make a roster.
Running step for step with Philip Dorsett in second. On his way by Cole. Xavier Weaver. Inside his 15. Makes the first man miss. And take it down there. All right, Cardinals on offense. When we come back, we are tied at 10 midway through the 3rd quarter at State Farm Stadium. Hey, here's our rookie spotlight presented by Hyundai, proud partner of the Arizona Cardinals.
Oscar Cardenas, he was a team captain at UTSA, a tight end / tackle. He was about 285, but he lost about 35 pounds to try and play a real tight end in the NFL. He's a big-time playmaker, and I talked to him on the field. He said, man, I'm expecting and hoping to get some run today, and it looks like he is.
It's tough, though. This tight end room is loaded. In fact, Ben Steele, a tight ends coach, we had him on the Big Red Rage radio show, and he said he saw a question. It was on Twitter Face. That's what he called it. It was a Belichick malaprop. He said on Twitter Face he saw here's the best tight end room in the league, and he voted for the Arizona Cardinals. So you got to love that coming from the tight end coach. When you look at top to bottom, Trey McBride, Tip Ryman, Elijah Higgins. The question is there room for a 4th tight end? Maybe a Travis Moquett. Project said it's 260. Those guys are hard to find because you have an offense that has led the league the last couple of years in 13 personnel. They love to run 12 personnel, multiple tight ends.
Correct. 13 personnel, 3 tight ends, 12 personnel, 2 tight ends. But they're different body types. Vokalek is 6'6", Tip Ryman 6'4", 265. So they have different jobs on the field.
All right, that run went for 7. Clay 2 on 2nd and 3. We have a flag. Jeremiah Byers in pass protection as Dune throws the ball away. It looks like this one is going to be marched back.
Holding. Offense, number 67. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Jeremiah Byers.
We're seeing some of the pressure up front. Last series, there was a sack taken. This series, not a sack taken, but another negative play. You have to understand that if you're playing with maybe second or third string offensive linemen, that clock in your mind has to tick a little bit quicker as a quarterback to get the ball out or make a quicker decision.
And that really has been the determining factor with Clayton Tune. As Jonathan Gannon says, let it rip. See it, trust it, get rid of it. Michael Carter, Clayton Tune on 2nd and 3. And here comes Blake Gillikin, the punt.
And that's, you can see the frustration from Clayton Tune. It wasn't that he didn't get the first down, it was the fact that he had a tight end who was in the middle of the field, who was open, but who had slipped and fell down. I believe it was Josiah DeGuara, number 47, who was open in the middle, but he was on the ground, so he could not get the ball to his receiver. Those are plays that Clayton Tune knows he wants to make, but he needs a little bit of help on the scramble drill from tight ends and receivers.
Gillikin going to punt it away. Tommy Malott deep for the Raiders. Gillikin in regular season form. Malott to the far side. As flags fly deep behind the play. This one is coming back.
I was talking to Jeff Rogers, who's the assistant head coach and the special teams coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals. I said, did you watch any film on Malott?
Illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 42. 10-yard penalty for the spot of foul. First down.
He said he did, but what he's most excited about was to watch what it looked like in a real live game. Malott's getting those opportunities, but he has to maximize them as one of the best special teams coaches in the NFL.
Climate control, the return for retractable roof. It hit a pump 10 today, so we're enjoying this very much. The 20th season, by the way, of State Farm Stadium, so that's outstanding. Christian Garcia calling the defense, just like Justin Fry calling the offense. Christian Garcia, the inside linebackers coach, will be calling the defense here in the second half. And it's a defense that Jonathan Gannon called out this week. Said, look, we got, quote, annihilated by chunk plays, explosives in Denver, 15 plays of 15 yards or more. That's exactly how he's looking for the Cardinals defense to respond, bottling up Dylan Lowry to start the Raiders' drive.
The biggest things that decide winning and losing are turnovers and explosive plays. This game is tied right now. The Cardinals barely have 100 yards of total offense, but they have a big-time turnover that got them points. They also haven't given up explosive plays. So those are two indicators when you're watching football of who's going to win or who's going to lose.
All right, gain of 1, second down and 9. Cam Miller to the air, far side.
Couple days, 3 days until roster cutdowns.
Dancing along the sideline to bring up third down and 4. Hey, let's take a look at our Fight for 53, sponsored by the Desert Financial Credit Union. Elijah Simmons right there out of Tennessee, rookie, undrafted, nose tackle. All he's done is make noise since day 1 of camp. I mean, he has been an absolute menace in the O-line, D-line drills, and he has come completely off the radar, and he's definitely threatening to make this final 53.
The problem, though, is all the people in front of him. That's the issue he's fighting.
On that throw, on third down and 2, move the chains. Raiders convert with that completion to Colin Johnson.
Simmons, he did a great job, even in one-on-ones last week in practice versus Denver. But that defensive line room is so deep. It's unlikely he might be able to make the 53-man roster, but you think about practice squad and continuing to develop and then getting called up, that's where his best opportunity is based off the way the roster is currently constructed.
6 years in Tennessee, played in 55 games, only 8 starts at Tennessee. Defensive front was so loaded as well. Now Lowry on first down, straight up the gut. Yeah, I say the D&D line, Sam, stands for day and night. It stands for depth. When you look at the last couple of years, all the injuries Cardinals have had along that defensive front. Speaking of injuries, Jalen Jones is the Cardinals shaken up down in the field, backup DB. And now to add the likes of a Calais Campbell. We talked about Dalvin Tomlinson. You drafted Walter Nolan III. Hopefully he's coming soon out this preseason with injury. Darius Robinson, who played in 6 games the end of last year and is most definitely looking at taking that next step. Dante Stills, coaches refer to him as maybe the most consistent and disruptive interior defensive lineman when it comes to pass rushing. He's in year 3. All of a sudden, the question becomes, can you rush 4? Can you stop the run with 4? And if so, what does that do for your defense? And Nick Rollis has a lot of possibilities. Tied at 10 in the 3rd quarter. Cardinals defense and the explosive they allowed last Saturday night. Denver, so far, they have given up only two plays at 15 or more yards. Looking at 2nd down and 5. The Raiders at their own 36. We are tied at 10. Geno Smith with a touchdown pass. And then Sidney Hoko for Clay Tune. The other touchdown in this game. Dylan Laube. He is pounded. 3 yards shy of the 1st down to bring up 3rd and 3.
We're seeing a lot of the same types of plays from this Raiders offense. It's almost this inside zone type of play. I'd like to see the outside linebackers play a little bit tighter. And then if you're lined up away from the running back, know that that ball is coming your way on a rundown. So be more physical against the run.
Michael Walker.
That man got juice. Let's put it that way. And you saw the juice back when he was with the New York Jets. You see the juice anytime he touches the ball. Zonovan Bam, the next level ability. Great block by Josiah DeGuara. And then Bam Knight does the rest. He outruns the safety, outruns the linebackers, outruns the referee. All you need to do is get the ball in Zonovan Knight's hands, and
And we talk about finishing speed. Chad Ryland out for the extra point. And SRP touchdowns for teachers gives teacher grants with every Arizona Cardinals touchdown. Learn more at SRP.net/teachers. There's a reason why virtually every coach in offense says, I like this guy. I really like this guy. Bam Knight. And he just showed why.
And here's the issue. We're fighting for 53. The issue is unbelievable vision, speed, breakaway. The Cardinals might be thinking, okay, he might have been a guy we were going to cut and try to get him back on practice squad. If we cut this guy, there's another team that's looking at that breakaway speed, that next level speed, that's not a denial. So he made it just a little bit more difficult for the Cardinals to cut him. Of course, you want to make this team, but in all reality, you want to make any team. And plays like that, when you get your number called, are how you make a roster.
Yeah, he's an undrafted guy, 2022. Played with the Jets, the Lions, 9 games combined. His rookie year, he had a 90-yard rushing game at the end of that season. Had a chance to talk to him. Great personality, great smile. I said, no, wait a minute. The nickname Bam, that came from your playing days, Pop Warner football. He said, no. He said, I was 4 years old. I was destroying toys, and my family members started calling me Bam. And so he said, that's what I was doing to all my toys as a youngster. As the kick is away, and that'll be a touchback coming out to the 35.
Did they keep on getting him toys, or did they stop giving Bam? So that's what I want to know.
Yeah, they got him some heavy-duty toys at that point. The Santan Ford scoring drive presented by Santan Ford and Gilbert. Santan Ford and the Arizona Cardinals. We are Ford. 3 plays, 93 yards, 67 yards by Bam Knight.
And great breakaway speed, but we got to go back to the blocking up front. Josiah DeGuara, the veteran tight end, great job sealing off the outside linebacker. Hyman just making a big enough gap where Bam Knight wasn't touched.
And look, this is a Cardinals rushing offense that has finished number 2 each of the last 2 years in yards per carry. It's a Cardinals rushing offense that has finished top 3, top 5 the last couple of years in explosive runs, courtesy of James Conner leading the way. Cardinals lead 17-10. James Conner and now Trey Benson. I want you to answer the question when we come back. Do you expect to see two running backs this year? What might
This is a good game,
the
y'all.
defenses in 2025? Cardinals taking the lead here in the second half. We get the fourth quarter when we come back. The Arizona Cardinals podcast network.
Fourth quarter.
Third quarter stats sponsored by Shields. Cardinals only had 11 total yards in the first quarter. Have made up ground in a big way ever since. Bam Knight, the 67-yard touchdown run, finishing off a 93-yard drive in less than a minute. All part of those numbers right there. And Cardinals fans, remember today's that Nacho Boy means you've earned a free bean and cheese burro with a purchase of a 20-ounce drink tomorrow at all Valley-wide Some Burros locations. Redeem online at someburros.com with promo code turnover. Great burros tomorrow. Raiders taking over. Quick throw underneath. Caught.
They be heavy to get to the line.
Wickham across the 45 is the Raiders receiver Justin Shorter.
Paul, you asked earlier about the two running back sets. People call it pony, right? 20. That 2 stands for running back, so 20. 2 running backs, 0 tight ends, 3 receivers, or 21. 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 2 receivers, pony. Drew Petzing loves to run a lot of 20 personnel, 21, 22, pony. But I don't see it as being very effective. We talked to Jonathan Gannon yesterday. He said as a defensive coordinator, he loves seeing people come out with 2 running backs because those running backs aren't as great as receivers, as having a receiver, nor are they great as blockers as having a tight end. So I expect to see it because that's what Drew Petzing likes to do, but I don't think they need to run it as often.
Yeah, I had this great question and pretty much got officially shut down by the head coach. But, I went down swinging. I took one for the team there, Sam. I was curious. 2 co-RB1s. Sincere McCormick, and he is bottled up. Elliott Brown at the tackle on the previous play. Anthony Goodlow getting in there, and he's flexing after making that stop.
Sincere McCormick's another big-time home run hitting type of running back out of UTSA. That's one thing I've been impressed about this defense for the Cardinals. They're slowing down the run game, at least the explosive plays. You saw the early leakage. I don't see as much in the second half.
All right, third and obvious pass, 3rd and 10. Playing 2. You know what? You notice that the defense had their back to him, and he took off running and picked up the first down.
One thing I love about playing 2's game is that there's this, they know he's going to run the ball as things break down. So he steps up in the pocket. You're going to see at the very end of this play, Nate McCollum has a chance to knock out one of these defenders, and he doesn't. At the very end, you see that he kind of backs away. That could have been a 15-yard big deal. Great job by Nate McCollum, not taking an illegal blindside block.
On that play, 25 on 3rd and 21, DJ Dallas running the ball now. Takes it down near the 15-yard line.
I got a list for you.
Let her rip.
What are the top 5 things Ron Wolfley will do in retirement?
That's great. That is a good one.
I think number 1, he's got some kids, some high schoolers who wants to coach.
Sure, a lot of high school football in his future, no doubt about
I
it.
think he'll still be watching a lot of football.
Oh, yeah. He'll be griping and grousing about the blood sport. There's no doubt about it.
I think he'll still have his great descriptors for rectangles and squares and triangles and octagons.
Put triple pepperoni sandwiches on that list. It's 2nd down and 6. And he's going to throw underneath Tayshaun Palmer. Guess what? He's got the first down across the 10 near the 8-yard line. Move the sticks. Cardinals on the move.
Another guy trying to make a name for himself. Tayshaun Palmer, 6th round. Fake 2 is looking to the flat. Flat's not available. Tayshaun Palmer gets himself available. UAB, he's a big-time receiver as far as balls down the field. Seeing work more of those intermediate routes.
Less than 6 minutes to go in the preseason. Play 2 under center. DJ Dallas 7 yards deep. And he lunges forward with his second effort.
So what will Wolfley be doing? Our friend Ron Wolfley, what will he be doing? Top 5 things in retirement. I got to hear from you.
Well, we know his affinity for the compound. He's going to be enjoying his couch this football season. There's no doubt about that.
Will he be responding roster, you got to, if it's not a perfect pass, make your quarterback right. You see him, he's focused, he's dialed in. It's a little bit low, but make the catch and then get into the end zone. Then jump and make the catch first. The end zone will find it.
Here we go, 3rd and goal. Cardinals at the Raiders 6. Cigna Healthcare proud to sponsor the Kicks for Kids program for the 16th year. 3 successful Cardinal school goals. Cigna Healthcare donates to Arizona Cardinals.
There's power football and every post-game wrap-up after the final whistle.
This was a fun one. Don't stop.
NFL Game Day returns Sunday, September 7th on NFL Network.
Copyrighted by NFL Productions for the private use of all rights. Any use of these broadcasts, any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of NFL Productions is prohibited.
Well, there you go. Big Red hashtag more you can do.
He might get cut from that job. It's just a preseason. I'm just saying, Big Red, no offense. But hey, this is looking good, Big Red. You got to zoom in a little bit, right? All right, good. Got it on guilt. Okay. Is it still Big Red? Because if so, you make the squad.
And, you know, the beat gets in the way of the whole viewfinder thing. It's tough. Tommy Line and the beat. Speaking of Wolf, might have to rip off one of his great lines. Whenever Darnold would make a physical play, I love his line, you know, you mess with a bird, you get the beak. As the flag flies. Speaking of Wolf and Pash, this is officially the witching hour. Final 2 minutes, the final preseason game.
I think in this
Return, holding, receiving team number 18. After this is to the goal line. First down.
one thing that needs to be said is in this last preseason game, some of these players on the field, on the sideline, will not get a chance to play football ever again. And so I just remember being one of those guys who's like, man, not sure what was going to happen. That's why it's good to live in the moment. Make the most of every rep, of every play, because you never know when it's going to be your last.
This Raiders offense has been bottled up in the second half. As Stan Miller running for his life, gets the ball away to the far flat, makes some man miss, and out of bounds. There's the backup tight end, Albert Buquayo-Bruno. And before that play, the Raiders in the second half had 62 total yards and 4 first downs. And, you know, I had this conversation with A.Q. Shipley, the new radio analyst, last week in the radio booth, and he said, look, there were years I went into the final preseason game, and my biggest decision was what flavor sunflower seeds I was going to have. And there were other years I went into the final preseason game, and I didn't know if I was going to be employed in 48 hours. I mean, you've lived that as well, have you not?
I have my penultimate year in the NFL. I guess it was my last year in the NFL. I spent training camp with the Buffalo Bills, and in my mind, it felt like I knew it was towards the end. And I remember playing in that game, the last game in the fourth quarter, and I remember missing a sack that I knew I could have made. And a few days later, I got that phone call and ended up getting released on my birthday. And for whatever reason, I did feel a sense of peace because I knew there was more to come.
Second down and 10. And the receiver makes a catch. A yard shy of the first down. Marquez Callaway.
Getting to that point, I think we all say, oh no, it's the end for all these guys. And these guys are going to go on to do bigger and better things. The ones who don't make it on this team or another team, it's not like their life ends at football. There's so much more that they will do in their futures. That's the exciting part about being a Raiders.
The next team, in nearly the very last snap, is stating his case.
There's another name, a guy who's been on the roster bubble, who's trying to make a name for himself.
Fourth down and 11. Less than 30 seconds to play. And over the middle, and a flag flies. Jamie Robinson in coverage. Against the Raiders tight end.
How about XT? Not just him, but a bunch of those guys are tired on that defensive line. You play all these reps.
Pass interference. Defense number 26. That Raiders line result of play. First down.
That's a good point. The regular season, there's much more of a rotation, isn't there?
Not here, not here. You said you wanted reps. Hey, here you go. It's time to catch your breath and catch that second win.
All right, so
Previous plays under review.
early indications are that was not a
So now's the time to make the play with a winning play. Interception, sack, fumble, tick.
The Raiders out of timeouts. 24 lonely seconds left in the preseason.